So we've spent the last few sessions talking about anxiety, thinking about stuff from our past that we've done or has been done to us. We've talked a little bit about just the nature of anxiety it's a distraction. It's like a briar patch in our minds. And then last time talked a bit about the anxiety that comes from relationships, about how other people think about us. But perhaps the area that is most stubborn for us is anxiety that we may feel right here. When we look in the mirror, when we think about ourselves, what comes to mind? And do we like what we think about ourselves? Do we hate what we think about ourselves? How do we deal with that? Well, the Apostle Paul talks about this in 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Here's what he says, talking about his ministry and what people thought of him. This is how one should regard us, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mystery of God. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found trustworthy. But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or any human court. In fact, I do not even judge myself. Now, let me stop right there for a moment, because Paul's basically saying, you're putting me on trial with your opinions of me, whether you think I'm great, whether you think I'm terrible. And okay, I'm not going to let your opinion, for good or for bad, sway me in terms of how I think about myself. And then he actually says something that we often overlook. The way I think about myself is not going to define my true standing. Tim Keller has a great little book on the joy of self-forgetfulness, I believe is what it's called. I've actually kind of forgotten the title, but it's something along those lines. And it's about this passage. And like a lot of other things, I owe to him this insight that we may be able to get past what others think about ourselves, but how we look at ourselves, we can get ourselves in a mess. He goes on to say this, back to 1 Corinthians 4. I am not aware of anything against myself, but I am not thereby acquitted. It is the Lord who judges me. Therefore, do not pronounce judgment before its time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness, and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive his commendation from God. Here's what he's saying. The judgment about who I am. There's a trial that's already happened. I'm tempted to put myself on trial every single day, depending on what people think about me or what I think about myself. But the trial is already over. The verdict is in. And the fact of the matter is that Jesus Christ has taken the penalty of my sin upon himself, and he has, in a sense, taken the price and acquitted me. I will receive not really my commendation from God at the end of time, but Christ's commendation. He's taken my sin, and I am receiving his character that has been placed upon myself. All that to say, if you are tying yourself up in knots about how you see yourself, know that God has acquitted you when you have put yourself under the forgiving and cleansing blood of Jesus Christ. This Lenten season, that can be a very freeing thing to explore. God bless you today.